Hi guys, Johnson & Johnson vaccine is being posed by CDC because 6 out of 7 million people developed a rare blood clotting disorder. In Europe, similar vaccine called AstraZeneca got 222 cases out of 33 million. For both vaccine, it's very rare and treatable side effect. Just for comparison, there are 300,000 to 600,000 people who developed the same clotting in US per year. I think we need to find a real issue why these vaccines are banned. Look, basically we have two different technology. One is mRNA vaccines like Moderna and Pfizer BioNTech, and adenovirus vector vaccines like Janssen, AstraZeneca, Chinese Sinovac, and Russian Sputnik V. mRNA vaccines are awesome, and they're using a very low-level cellular mechanism to generate a protein which is similar to the COVID one. They are extremely simple to make, very predictable and easy to customize. That's why these kind of vaccines got approval so fast, and I've got the whole video about how awesome they are. But the most important, they are highly efficient, like 93 to 95% of efficacy. In contrast, the adenovirus vaccines like Janssen's are using an actual adenovirus to generate a COVID-like protein by itself. The adenovirus is safe and quite well studied. But it's a virus and it's a living form, although some of you might disagree. But it's definitely much more complicated than a simple mRNA message. That's why you have a potential rare side effects. But the biggest problem is its efficacy. Janssen is 63.3% and AstraZeneca is around 70%. Some of fake news telling us like basically 2 weeks ago that this efficacy rate is not really important, that it's not precisely measured, and everyone should basically get Janssen as well. Now let's see why this rate matters a lot more than most of people think. Realistically, you can vaccinate 50% of population. If you push it really hard, you can get 60%, but 70%? No way. There are so many people who refuse to take a vaccine for various reasons. In addition, you might have some people who got COVID in the past but still have antibodies and they don't want to take a vaccine, and they will be protected. There are probably going to be less than 5% of these. To stop the pandemic, we need like 60 to 70% people with protection to get herd immunity. Now look, if you have Pfizer Moderna vaccine and you manage to vaccinate 60% of your population, you will get 57% of people with protection. Now you can add 5% of people who got previously exposed to COVID and you will get 62%, which is probably very close to herd immunity. Now if you get Janssen or AstraZeneca and you vaccinate the same 60% of population, you will get only 47% of the people who are protected, meaning that additional 15% of population needs to get COVID before herd immunity will work. What is 15% in terms of COVID death in US? It's 490,000 if you assume 1% death rate, and it's 340,000 if you assume 0.7%. So far there is 578,000 people died in COVID in US, meaning that this is crazy number of new additional death. My guess that probably authorities in US and Europe realized that simple reality and they don't want to have that many additional death, and they decided to wait for Pfizer and Moderna to definitely stop the pandemic, not just burn some people's money on those vector vaccines. And I think this is the real reason why they suspended them. Now let's look at real-world example. So we have UK, which managed to vaccinate 47% of the population. There were 60k of cases per day in January, and now it's only 2.5k. It's not herd immunity yet, and they still have a lockdown, but the progress is extremely clear, especially if you compare it with European countries like Germany or Poland, which actually have way more cases now than back in January. This is amazing difference. The situation is even better in Israel when they vaccinated 61% of the population, and they had 10k per day in January and 200 now. And now you have a very different example, and it's Chile. They managed to vaccinate an impressive 40% of population. However, they use Chinese vector vaccine called Sinovac. And the pattern there is similar to Germany and Poland. They have the number of daily cases basically doubled since January, and they have one of the strictest lockdown right now. And the University of Chile recently came up with a study which claims that real vaccine efficiency rate is only 50%, much less than the original predicted value. One of the biggest problems with vector vaccines is that you have to grow the actual virus, and the whole process is way more complicated, and especially it's really hard to scale it. And as the result, the quality of vaccine varies greatly. There are similar recent complaints for Sputnik V from Slovakia, which said that the actual property of vaccine is very different from one described in Lancet newspaper. To summarize, we have a clear winner of COVID vaccine race. It's Pfizer and Moderna. Everything else is garbage, and if your government spends some money on them, it's a shame. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye!